Shalom, family. We must remember that Yahuwah is not bound by human labels or what a person has believed about themselves or about other people. That's called a heresy or an opinion, and it is not, however, the truth. Now let's talk about the serpent seed, since this is something that has been circulating the last couple of days. The serpent seed, as scripture teaches, is not just a matter of bloodline, but it is a spiritual condition that's rooted in rebellion against Yahuwah. It says in Genesis chapter 3 verse 15, "And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed, and it shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." Another scripture that we can read is John chapter 8 verse 44, which says, "You are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it." Family, let us realize that Yahuwah calls who he wills. Yahuwah has power to reach into the deepest and darkest parts and bring light. Shaul, who is also known as Paul, he himself was once a persecutor of the believers of Yahuwah and his truth, working against Yahuwah's people. And yet, Yahusha met him on the road and transformed him into one of the greatest apostles. You can read all about that in the book of Acts, chapter 9, verse 1 through 19. Let's read John 6:44. It says, "No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws them." If Yahuwah is drawing you, family, it is because he sees something beyond what anyone or even ourselves may see about ourselves. When it comes to sin or past rebellion or even ancestry things, that can separate us from Yahuwah. But we have to understand there is power in the rebirth in Yahusha. There is power being born again through him. In the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17, it says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Mashiach, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things become new." So even if a person were of a corrupted bloodline, even if a person had some type of sin or rebellion through their bloodline or through their past, the spiritual transformation Yahusha offers severs that covenant that the serpent or that the devil once had in their lives, and it places them in covenant with Yahuwah instead. Sometimes Yahuwah chooses the most unlikely vessels, family. Throughout the history in the scriptures, Yahuwah has always chosen people who seemed least likely to carry his message, not because of who they were, but mainly because of who he would like to make them to be. For instance, Moses, Mashah, he was a fugitive before becoming the deliverer of Yasharal. And concerning Rahab, Rahab was a Canaanite prostitute who became part of Messiah's lineage. And Ruth, she was a Moabite, an outsider, but became the great-grandmother of King Daud. Yahuwah's choice is not limited by where a person started. It's about where they're going. The awakening is proof of Yahuwah's ownership as well. If someone hears his name, if they receive his truth and is moved to walk in his purpose and his will, that is more than evident that they are no longer under the serpent's dominion. The serpent seed ultimate trait is indeed rejection of Yahuwah's truth. Let's read John chapter 8, verse 43 to 45. It says, "Why do you not understand my speech? Even because you cannot hear my word. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. And when he speaks a lie, he speaks of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And because I tell you the truth, ye believe not me. And so, family, if you accept his truth and walk in it, you are demonstrating you belong to Yahuwah. Let's keep going with this. Redemption, family. Redemption is the final word. It says in Romans chapter 9, verse 15 to 16, it says, I will have mercy on whom I have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I have compassion. So then it is not of him who wills, nor of him who runs, but of Elohim who shows mercy. Family, if Yahuwah chose you, it is because of his mercy and plans. They outweigh whatever history, whatever spiritual darkness, whatever lie, whatever opinion, and whatever heresy people are walking in. His power is to redeem us, to deliver us, to heal us, to restore us. His power to redeem is way greater than the serpent's power to corrupt. And what is our final answer, believers, Kodeshim that are listening to this? If you believe Yahuwah's truth, call on his name and desire to walk in his purpose. Then you are no longer a serpent seed. You are his seed. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It matters how you are walking in the truth. What matters is your spirit. The very fact that you were awakened is more than evident and proof that you belong to Yahuwah. The serpent seed remain in darkness, but Yahuwah has called you into his marvelous light. But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye shall show forth the praises of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Shalom.